I did not think I would be here right now telling you that on the 1st of July, my second book is coming out. And if you thought the first one was a punch in the gut, this one is definitely a hard kick as well. I want to talk about my books. I want to talk through both of them, the why, the process, everything about them. What does I just want to share something I'm really proud of. And maybe you don't want to listen to this, and that's okay. You want to listen to other podcasts, but I believe that we should be able to self promote without getting that cringe factor. So I want to talk to you about my books and how hard it was for me to finally do this. Especially now doing a second one. My first book came out on the 6th of October 2024, went to top seller on Amazon. It's a very small book. Someone left the things, I think it was a pamphlet. They are designed to be small, to be scrunched up, shoved in a pocket. They're not, and no more expensive than a magazine, a photography magazine. And that was done deliberately. So welcome to Lowlands. If you're new here, buckle up. If you've been here a while, you know the drill. No fluff, no fakery, just honesty from me, what it actually takes to be a working photographer. And today I'm just going to talk about my books, both of them. And not because I'm here to flog the paperback and pretend it's going to change your life. Please understand that. I'm talking about them because I wrote them for people like you. I wrote them with you guys in mind. A version of you who is sick of the noise that you see online, the comparison culture, the Instagram smoke and mirror bullshit. You know what I'm talking about. I ain't shit naturally, but I can't run a business to save a life or whatever, right? So my first book was like the straight talking, take the effing you know what the effing means, take the effing lens cap off, okay? And I was there talking about how to just get out and shoot, how people were just waiting for or giving excuses why they weren't shooting. And every single one of these chapters dedicated to someone privately in my head about the conversations we've had. And even the chapter about dog poo, if you haven't read it, you'll understand. But I wanted to talk about all the excuses that I hear from photographers as to why they're not doing it. Everything from I can't photograph. Oh, I haven't got the best gear. I'm too uncomfortable. I'm too embarrassed. I don't want to share it. Blah blah blah. I didn't want that. And I was watching some really talented photographers like my friend Steve, who's just an amazing street photographer, get burnout, not because they weren't good, but because they didn't know how to perhaps not fall into the dopamine chasing challenge that is photography, this whole thing. And I remember speaking to a couple of other friends who were like, "Oh, I'm worried that people won't like what I do." And I said, "Why do you care? Just put it online." Like, "Oh, but you know," and I'm like, "But no, they don't. Do these people pay your bills? No. Have they ever bought a shoot from you? No." And I just suddenly realized, like, okay, these people need to hear it. And I was talking about it in person. I did it at my seminars, at the photo and video show, and other places I've spoken. But I realized, like, when I looked at photography books, and in particular ones I was looking at, because I have a huge library here of ones I've got, I didn't see much who were talking the way I talked. Now, I did come across a couple of marketing books that very much resonated with the way I talk. And I was like, why is this not applied to photography? And also, I didn't want a photography book with images in it. And before you go, why have you got a photography book without any images, Khandie? Because my photos are not there to inspire you, but my words are. Because I don't give a crap what I create, but how I approach life. And I feel like some of this stuff needed to be said. I got tired of seeing talented people burn out or not pick up a camera. I will say the feedback on the first book was on the whole amazing. Some people did say they felt it was too short and it wasn't worth money. There was one of the quotes, but actually I said it literally tells you in the blurb that this is a really short book with slightly bigger font size so that it's more accessible to people who struggle to read small print. I had people telling me they've not read a book in years and they finished this book. And it's only, I think, if I remember rightly, in fact, I've got it here. This book is only 51 pages long, right? And that's not a lot, but people telling me they were finishing this book, they were completing it, and I was really proud of that. There were people who I remember being at the photo show, and a lady came up to me, and she waited. I was doing a speech on the British Institute of Professional Photographers stand there after I'd done my main one on the stand for the photo show, and she had my book with her, and it was crumpled, and she opened it up, and there was bits highlighted and notes in the margins, and I was just like, "That's what I want. That to me is worth making that book." This person was referencing it. She got me to sign it, which I was like, "Whoa, I've never signed a book," and it was amazing. I felt that people it just felt like that's what I knew. I can't really get the words out now, but that's kind of why I wanted to write this. I wanted someone to go, "This book gave me a reason." And I thought that was me done. I'll be honest. I had in the back of my head that I had like 9 book titles I like to maybe at some point do, and they will get slightly more in depth, or they will. They're all part of a series, but they're standalone equally. And I thought, "Do you know, what? It's never going to happen. It's a pipe dream." And I was like, "I'm happy. I'm done." But given the fact that people, I remember someone coming up to me at the first show, "Why did you write a book? You're a no one. Like, you've got no following." I was like, "But I sold and got a top seller on Amazon. Like, it was a top seller on Amazon." And they were like, "Oh." And I was like, "Why can't I write a book? Why can't anybody who's a nobody write a book? Why does it matter? Why are you trying to gatekeep that?" And I realized that people want permission to create, or feel that they need to give permission to others to create. So the first thing I did after that was set up this podcast. And I knew then I wanted to create a podcast that was very much how I am as a person, speak openly, no gatekeeping, don't worry about paying nice platitudes to people, like being blunt. And I feel like in business, time is a precious commodity, and it is in life. We never know how much time we've got. And I just wanted it to be like that. So I remember being in Norway. I was with my friend, and I was having a conversation with another friend, and they were asking about photography stuff. And they were like, "Oh, I worry what people were saying about it. If I post it online, I'm worried if it's not good, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Why do you care?" And they were like, "Well, because." And I was like, They don't pay your bills. They don't buy from you, do they?" And he was like, "No." I was like, "Well, then do it." And it's something I realized, like, more and more people were holding back because they were worried what people would think. And I realized a lot of photographers forget to create for themselves. They're creating in the hope of appeasement from other photographers. And I just had this discussion actually on a Zoom chat this morning, where I was saying, all these awards that people are winning, the various fellowship, society, academy groups, yeah, they're creating work for other photographers to admire. So they do highly skilled editing, they do the aesthetically pleasing poses, everything like that. But work that connects with people who are not photographers is a whole different beast. So why can't you create work like that? Create the connection work, not the perfection work. People were like, "No, oh no," because people say, "Oh, it needs catch lights or it needs this." I was like, "No, it doesn't. Shoot your own personal project. Start owning your originality and building a photography business that's selfish in the right way. Do it for you. It's not selfish and arrogant, but like more intentional. You shoot what lights you up. I don't know. You build boundaries, create your time. You market yourself. You do what makes you happy." So I decided that I started drafting like a framework for this book. I remember I was sipping a coffee in Cafe Bioned on Ankerbruch. I can't remember how to say it. In Norway, Oslo. I was sat there. It was a really hot day, and I just started writing and writing, and well, it's not really writing it. You're typing on a computer. I was tapping away, and I had another decaf, and I was going away, and then I decided that I needed to change it. So I got on the ferry, and and it's like typing away on the ferry, and before I knew it, I had 5 chapters done, and I needed them to be short and punchy. And then I stopped for a bit, and I was like, "I need to have a break. I need to just make sure I'm doing this right." So that you'll see a slight change in the style I'm writing after. I think it is after chapter 5, because I just become slightly. Yeah, it is chapter 5. I become slightly more at ease with telling you what to do. And it's because I want you at that point in the book to realize you can take your time. Yes, there are swears and there are rants in it, and there are moments that will sting a bit, but there's also empowerment, I think, and permission. Like, I'm going to give you permission to not ever get permission from anyone else to create. I don't know who I am to give it, but I wanted to remind her that no one else gets to define you and define what a success in photography looks like for you. And I don't know who I am to tell you that, other than I am Khandie. And I just wanted people to have permission to do what they wanted to do. So this book comes out on the 1st of July, and I haven't done nearly as much marketing as I should have, because I've been traveling, and I set things up, and I had opportunities to publicize it, but it meant I had to do things that didn't want to do. I know, look at me. I'm like, "Ugh." And again, publishers reached out, said they would publish the book, and they would get it in all these places. But one, they want the price to increase significantly. They want me to add photos, they want me to tone it down. I don't want to do that. The whole reason I did the book was to do it for me. So again, I'm self-publishing. I'm not defiant from these, but at some point, the right publisher perhaps will reach out, and I will do a good job. But this isn't a book just for the ones who just shoot what they love, but this is for people who are struggling. These are people who are feeling overwhelmed by the noise online. And I think the irony of that, I have a podcast which is just adding to the noise, but I wanted it to be people who feel maybe secretly afraid or, worried that they're not doing something. So I called it No One Effing Cares About Your Photography, because in reality, nobody really does except you, or not as much as you. I I didn't self-publish because it was easy. I did it because I wasn't sure if a publisher would also let me say "No one effing cares" on the cover. I didn't want some marketing person to tell me I needed to soften my image or my message to make it more palatable. I didn't write these to be palatable. I didn't want these to be an easy read. I didn't want these to be another wishy-washy book. I want it to cut deep. So hopefully it does and you enjoy it. It comes out on the 1st of July. It's on Amazon. Hopefully if you have both, you'll love them, but they're equally standalone. I hope you get something from them, and I would love to see if you do buy them and you share with me. And I'm open for discussions on it. I know people are asking about the audiobooks, and I have discussed just on an Instagram live stream that I'm struggling to find the best voice for it, because the eager in me knows I can't have me do it. But equally, I don't want a very Middle England voice. And I always thought maybe someone who's ultra posh, because some of the stuff they'd have to read are quite funny. And then who knows? We're working on it. We're working on it. So if you haven't grabbed the first book, I urge you to do that. But equally, maybe someone can donate one to you, because in the end of the book one, my line says, and it's now stop reading and go take some fucking photos. P.S. Donate this book to another person or a charity shop. You don't need it anymore, because I don't want you to keep hold of them. I want you to pass them on. And everyone goes, "Oh, you want them to do it so they can keep your money." I don't know if people do it, but I like the idea it gets passed around. So I hope you are, if nothing else, even if you're not interested in buying the books, you celebrate this small win with me as I share it with you. I hope it's as successful as the first book is, and if it's not, that's okay. I have yet to start on the third one. I don't know if there'll be a third one. I have an idea if there's going to be a third one, but I don't know. I'm not perfect. But I do know that I have enjoyed doing this. And I do know that I always I always thought I would do something a bit odd for me, and I think writing a book is quite odd because no, it's there's nothing about my face on it except at the end. There's like a little dodgy picture of me at the back. Although I have changed it slightly, so it's a nicer picture of me. But yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe there is one. And if you share it enough, maybe I'll be able to get it into some bookshops who will love it. Who knows? Who knows? But anyway, I just want you to say thanks for celebrating this win with me. And now go listen to all the other episodes that are not as narcissistically about me. Have a good day. And I'll see you all on the Loud Lens, because honestly, it's been a pleasure to record this one. Actually, I feel like I need to give myself a little pat on the back.